Well, everybody, it's been a month or so, or probably like a month and a half or some shit, but we're here to talk about, again, 5 Vinland Saga episodes a day before a new one comes out, so this video will be updated right away. But who the fuck cares? Because we're here with the panel to discuss episodes 10 through 14. That's 10 through 14. Right, EliteAri?
Yes, that's correct.
EliteAri is here, everybody. Congratulations. He'll have much to say about the many episodes we'll be discussing today. God, Mir's icon is jumping out of control. He is also here.
Yeah, I'm here, and I got the new mic, so this is gonna be funny.
It's fine because the audio doesn't come through at all, but Nisquachu
Yeah, Nisquachu
is jumping up and down. That's the name.
She's getting really bored up with this intro.
And Jarkey Bacon is apparently speaking before I introduce him, so I guess he's here too.
It's me. I don't listen to the rules. I break the rules because I'm, I don't know. That's what I like to do. You all know me. It's me.
Well, that's everybody. I know you're all excited. We don't have a structure for this, as we never do. I don't think anybody's got notes. So I guess we're doing overall thoughts. Who's going first? I should probably say somebody, huh? EliteAri, you're going first.
All right. I watched all of these episodes like yesterday.
Fucking copycat.
You know, saved them up.
Oh,
Actually, no,
that's really
no, I
smart.
didn't. No, it's false. It's false. Episode 10, I watched when it came out, and then after that, I took a break, and then I watched all the rest yesterday. But yep, it's a genius move. I remember everything. I'll have some stuff to say. I thought this was awesome. This was the great stuff. I think even the latest like 2 or whatever or 3 that focused just on like Arnid and that stuff.
That was 2.
I thought that's better than the manga. All right, I wasn't that engaged when I was reading like that stuff in the manga, but here I am so engaged and loving it all. So yeah.
Ah, man, these anime lovers are just the worst. Unbelievable.
I'm embarrassed for him. But Bacon, you're next.
Yeah. Oh, I'm next. Okay, well, I'm the opposite, Tari. I can barely remember anything, but I remember really liking it. I thought, well, I was a bit worried because they don't go back and forth between the different branches of what's happening in Canute Town and what's happening with our needs like they do in the manga. And I think the manga kind of makes them more clear, there's interwoven, and the plotting is a bit more engaging. But I know why. I understand why they did it, because they wanted to end on this amazing almost shots at the end of this core to kind of have a feeling like, okay, this is the ending of these 12 episodes, and we're going to start something completely new the next few episodes, and kind of make it feel kind of a bit more clean and really make it feel like a sharp difference there. So I respect the change. I don't think it will matter too much in the long run, but I think it does make the plot feel a little less complex, even if it does help the weekly experience more. So it's one of those interesting things where the binging experience may have been slightly detracted, but the weekly experience was made better. But it was really good. I enjoy it all. We got some extra backstory, and it wasn't that bad. So we're winning, boys.
I'm pretty much on the same page as you. This whole core, the first core like finale was so good, and I think it was worth any restructuring they felt they needed to do. Everything that happened in Canute was great, and that finale really hit, man. Especially just like the lighting on the boat, man, and the music. It was also good.
Crazy. All right, everybody here is saying some weird things. Weird things. First of all, these fucking hack frauds, they changed the OP, they changed the ED. I intentionally didn't watch them. I was going to leave it for a big for a big surprise, and I only got up to those episodes today because I watched the last 2 episodes like an hour before we recorded this, because I'm good like that. Without Love, River, the greatest anime ED combination since fucking 1994. Greatest anime ED combination. Anime ED, OP ED combination of all time. They changed it to some shit fucking emo boy, cringe boy rapping at the beginning. He wasn't rapping, he was just singing, but it was terrible. Visuals are still cool. The ED is kind of whatever, I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. But that's the most important thing. We got to get that out of the way. They got rid of Without Love, and I'll never forgive them.
Without Love is definitely better. I think I prefer Paradox.
What
to
did Ari just say?
I love Paradox.
No, actually, no. I thought about it more. I'm wrong. You're right, Bacon. You're right.
Okay, good,
Okay.
good. Yeah, Paradox.
Yeah, the
is,
ED is very whatever.
yeah, but Paradox, they showed it off when they had like the big trailer, and I was already like sad by the trailer because I'm like, dude, it's literally spoiling the whole arc. And then they're like, play like it like not in time, and it just doesn't like hit. But then when you hear the whole song for the OP, you're like, okay, it opens on a bird, and they talk about the sun, and I'm ready to go. And it's the same guys who did the first OP, and we all know that one's the best OP.
Smelly.
We know it's the best OP, as Carl will admit.
Attest.
So yeah, it's all good stuff. Survive said the prophet. I actually started listening to more of their music at work.
Yeah, I really
oh
like
my
all
word,
their
I was like,
songs.
yeah, they often sing in English, which I thought was very interesting, and a lot of the OPs and EDs mostly sing in English, which I think is like a nod to that international audience, which I was like very interested in, because I was like, River and Without Love are mostly in English, and this is why the last OP is bad, because I can't understand the words because half of it's in Japanese and it's awful. Worst
In River? Or you mean the first one?
The second ED, the second ED,
The new ED that we just got.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well,
All right.
I don't even remember. Ember, was that what it's called?
Ah.
Yeah. I've only listened to it like once, so I haven't had time to grow on me. That's with all these songs. River was
think
the same. I was
visually-
like, River kind of like, oh, I see this. It kind of works, and then at the end you're like, oh, Mighty River, flush me down the toilet, baby. Let's go.
And neither of them have as cool visuals as River either. River definitely wins in the visuals department.
No,
No,
Paradox is River?
River visuals work with the.
It has
feeling
the
of
Ava
arc, but it's also a
movie
bit of a
thing.
snoozer. Yeah, but Ava sucks. So I mean,
What a dumb
what
fucking
can I
piece
say?
of bacon this idiot is, huh? I'm sick of him. Let's get rid of him.
Oh,
But you said something
Yeah.
briefly. I finally downloaded River and Without Love, the full versions, and they're pretty good too. They're on my phone now. Listen to them forever. Without Love doesn't.
They are
They
good.
sort of changed it for the ED and maybe made it better because it doesn't have like the peak. Like they added like a Q in the ED version, which is interesting. Which is the big build-up part where she says "Without Love" for the first time. And I was listening for it in the actual song, and it never happened. But it does.
yeah, it doesn't
build up
quite
interesting.
climax as I was expecting it to. But
Yeah, it is interesting.
yeah.
But River
Paradox, on the other hand, it slaps all the way through. Listen to the whole thing. Oh my word. It's-
True.
Well, I only heard it for the first time an hour ago. All right, leave me alone. I also wrote down bacon is dumb. What could that have been about? I had completely forgotten that. I just misremembered and assumed that the anime was doing it as the manga did. I didn't know we cut back and forth between the Canute and Thorfinn stuff, and I thought it was sick. I thought these first 3 episodes were the best because it made it. We didn't have boring fucking Thorfinn or boring fucking Einar in it. And I was like, oh my god, Canute's the greatest character of all time. Imagine if Griffith was good. Oh my god. So I was like loving those 3 episodes. Then we cut back to Einar and Thorfinn, but it's not even really about them, so it's still good. And Arnie's here, and we get some shitty fucking anime-only backstory. It's fucking terrible, and I hated it.
Yeah, but that's because you don't understand Keto as a character. If you go watch Carl's video on the second best character in Vinland Saga,
I don't remember anything I say in that video.
the depth on that analysis on Keto is wanting. So
What did I even say?
you just said he's really bad from the start.
Really?
Anyway, yeah.
Why did I say that?
Anyway, there's a bit more
Because he has
context to that,
slaves?
but,
I
no,
don't
you
know.
were saying that like he's not even a good slave master because he just wants them to work harder, which isn't wrong. Like he's giving them freedom for them to work
Like
harder.
the
but I think
incentive thing? What the fuck was I on?
that-
Back
Yeah,
in
the
day,
incentive.
huh? Did I say
Who
incentive?
knows?
What a fucking idiot. See, Bacon, you're not the only one that's dumb, all right?
Yeah, we're all dumb over here. That's why they're listening to us.
Now, I mistyped it, and it says THP though. So it probably was Thor. Oh, about how Thorgil's actually the best character in Vinland Saga, and we have to change the Arnie character video to third best because Thorgil's so fucking cool, bro. Greatest character of all time. Doesn't cry once. Oh my god, he was so cool. Remember when he's just like, we didn't do anything wrong, Giga Chad, and then he just stands there, and it's like, no, you're going to jail, and then he just kills him and then runs away, and he's going to kill Canute next time? Oh my god, it's going to be so great. Spoiler alert.
Okay,
those are
I
my
will
overall
say,
thoughts.
anime has made me like Thorgil way more. I was like scared. I
True.
was like,
Yeah.
why is Thorgil got this fake tan going on? why is he looking like the 45th president of the United States of America? Oh
Looks
my
like Hulk
word,
Hogan.
unbelievable. And then he comes along, and I'm just like, dang, there's a lot of little nuances that you can miss in this part, and like the voice actor does a really good job of kind of bringing him to life, and like this whole like final bit of the core was super fun. I enjoyed it a ton.
Yeah.
And it really builds this kind of like, oh damn, it's going down.
Yeah.
Though it doesn't. I don't know why they don't like maybe like give a bit more foreshadowing to the coin guy, because he does kind of come out of nowhere and then he disappears to never be seen again. So I was wondering if they would like maybe like add a little bit more context to it, because it definitely feels like Yukimura was like, oh crap, I need a reason to get to get Omar to kill this dude. All right, let's have a guy who flicks coins real fast.
Yeah, he is flipping the coin like he's an anime character, huh? And Vinland Saga is better than that.
Yeah, Vinland Saga is none of this shonen baby garbage. Am I right, fellas?
No unrealistic stuff in Vinland Saga.
No, not at all.
I love EliteAri. But Bacon, the reason why Thorgil is so cool, it's the thing we always talk about in our chapter reviews, where we're like, man, I wish Thorfinn would just beat everybody up right now, and everybody would know that he's the baddest boy in the room, and Thorgil just does it every time. He's so fucking cool.
Unironically, very true.
But I guess that wraps up overall thoughts. Now we got to get into specifics. Oh no, we should probably split it into the Garda stuff and the Canute stuff.
Yeah.
Canute.
We do get a little bit of Thorfinn stuff at the beginning of 10. Thorfinn and Ar finishing the field.
Yeah, they're like celebrating stuff. What a bunch of dorks.
I thought this scene was really great.
They cut out some of the cute stuff they do though, right?
Yeah, they didn't do like their little dancing and shit.
Yeah,
that's like the one thing we missed.
Unbelievable. Aina's got, they give him a bad backstory and then take out all his dancing. Unbelievable.
I really like there's the one scene where Thorfinn's talking about like what he wants to do, and the way they animated the hands there, so good with the music. Banger.
Dude. Yeah, that's one thing I'm like, I think Vinland Saga is like, the drawings are very good. The animation is pretty decent. It is good, but it's not that like top tier. But when they get the hands, I'm like hands are so hard to draw, let alone animate. And they like that's when you know the animation is good. Like in Chainsaw Man, when they're like hands are like the Makima's grabbing the hands of Denji.
So true.
Like, I mean, this scene feels bad, but holy crap, the animation is good. Like they get the complexity in there. If you ever drawn a hand in your life, you'll know the pain. And they do Yukimura justice on that because hands are important to him. So
I feel like it sometimes works against itself, where it's like you can. I don't want to say you can tell that like so much more time was spent on the hands and everything else. It feels like. Oh, this is actually something that is kind of a wider complaint, though. The hand stuff is such a minor point of it. But I was just saying to finish that point quickly before I move on, is that it almost seems like, oh, there's like too much detail here and it doesn't fit with the rest of it. But there's the water. Now, I feel like somebody in one of these last time or the time before complained about the water, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. But I definitely, in the Omar scene that, we got as our little image here, the fucking water was way too realistic and it looked terrible compared to like the drawings. And even in this boat,
Carl, I think you're the only person that's complained about the water. I feel like you complained about the water.
I definitely complained about the water.
No, the water looks great, and then you call me stupid.
No, I definitely complained about the water in season 1, but this time
and in the trailer for this.
Did I watch the trailer for this?
Yeah, you complained about the water in the trailer for this.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember.
The water in the trailer was pretty bad though.
Yeah, right. Shut up. I'm making a point here. So there was also things on the boat that seemed too realistically drawn too. I think it was like the ropes or something, and I'm like, the textures don't really match here. But beyond all this, at some point they do the cool berserk thing where the image, the writing comes up, and then there's a dramatic cue and it fades out, and it was so cool. And they showed the absolute worst shot in this entire show of the long shot of the CGI boats on the terrible water, and it's just the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. And then they used it in the ED. Why? With all the shitty seagulls that aren't rendered.
Bad.
It was so bad. It was like, oh, this doesn't match at all. But yeah, there was besides that. And at one point, and the last shot of the most recent episode, if you watch instead of watching Arnie's hair, it's one in the window, looks so cool. If you look at the grass, it looks terrible because it's like low frame rate moving and it looks bad. But other than that, the show looks good.
No, but then a low frame rate means it's more still, Kyle. Which means it's better.
Because Arnie's hair wasn't in low frame rate, so it was a clash.
It means less movement.
Yes, I guess.
Unbelievable. This guy has become the animation critic.
There was some stillness shots. I was like, yeah, it's the good stuff. But
I'll have to look at that boat stuff again. I actually don't mind the boats on the water. The coolest part of the OP.
It was only one shot of the boats.
Is them with the boats on the water. I don't really mind the CGI boats that much.
It was only the one shot. Everything else looked fine. But it was the one thing.
Yeah. I also think something about, because you're talking about the Bible passage from Ecclesiastes where they start off on episode 10. And I kind of forgot that was before the Canute stuff. I thought, because they talk about farming in it and the toiling of the fields. But then I forget that comes at the beginning of the Canute chapters and stuff, which makes more sense because Canute is like, I guess, the most, biblically entwined character, like with Christianity and stuff like that. But anyway, it kind of gave me a new frame of reference to kind of think about that use of the quote, because it does kind of feel a little bit slapped on by, but it's such an obscure quote that I want to know why it's been used.
Yeah, it was interesting because I didn't understand, and I was like, whatever, I don't want to pause and think about it. EliteAri, I bet you didn't understand it either, this Bible quote. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't bother on it. If there's like a complex like thing being said, I just don't bother really most of the time, unless it's like a really big deal or something. So yeah, I didn't understand it either.
Yeah.
So basically, you're gonna explain it to us.
You guys just I mean, like, I don't really understand, but it's quoting from the book of Ecclesiastes, which, if you don't know, is like a book about like the meaningless of life. That is a very nihilistic book of the Bible. It's kind of complaining that you do all this work and it will just get, you eventually die and it will get wasted away. You build up, you toil in the fields and nothing amounts to it. And then it kind of, and then like throughout the book, eventually, this character that is bemoaning kind of talks about how like, but in the end, it is like, if you're thinking too much on the fickleness and the fickleness of life, basically, and focusing too much on like material deeds, these things will get washed away. But if you focus on God and put your comfort in Him, like that gives them more permanent feeling, a more permanent staying power in life, basically, a more permanent purpose. Which is like, I think, now I was just saying that out loud. That's kind of like a could tie into Kettle, could tie into a couple of things. But anyways, one of those things I'm like, I've never sat down and really thought hard about it because I feel like there is a reason why it's there. Cursory glance. Cool. That's my very basic analysis.
Bacon knows everything about the Bible. We know this. We've heard of it.
No, I don't. No,
yeah, he does. He knows everything. But we get into the Canute stuff, and I've finally got the chapters up, so now I'm going to see what's different, and I'll have more complaints. But I thought this fucking ball game shit was some fucking anime-only bullshit. But look at it. Here it is in the manga. Is there a flashback to young Canute? Because he was so cute in this fucking anime. Was that in the manga too?
No, there's no young
in the manga. The whole actual flashback was anime original.
Okay. Look at this fucking...
Chapter 72, for people who don't know.
Yes, that's the one I'm on. He does mention that they used to play it. Okay, so we got some expanded content there. I like that one. We'll talk about Kettle later. He killed his own brother. Can you believe it? I kind of forgot he did that.
Yeah, this really added to the weight of it because I kind of forgot too that he went that far. So having this little flashback actually made it like he's not just some random guy who's dead. It's like, oh no, this is actually a real person that mattered to Canute.
Yeah, and the flashback definitely was like, let's make Harold like way less needing to be killed, basically. Yeah. Like in the manga, you're like, I don't really know about this Harold guy too much, but in the anime they have like the flashback of them as kids playing, and you're like, oh well, Harold really shouldn't have died, but then Canute just killed him anyway because like
together, bro. Sense. Together.
Yeah.
But Canute's
I mean, Canute's reasoning for it makes sense, but
yeah,
like,
did you like those flashbacks, Bacon?
I'm pretty indifferent to them. We all know I'm a Canute hater, so
but you also like subtlety in stories, right? And it wasn't very subtle, I don't think.
No, but like like that Canute, I is just a character I don't care too much about, unfortunately. So like, I was like, oh, okay, this is new Canute stuff. Oh, more Ragnar, yeah, boy, get Ragnar in here, let's go. But yeah,
Ragnar's
I mean,
the worst. Canute's the best.
Okay,
What about Gunnar?
Gunner's the worst. His dumb fucking head pisses me off.
The Waluigi of Vinland Saga.
He does look like him, huh? Yeah.
I was
crazy.
thinking of doing like a fan art of Wario, Ragnar, and Waluigi Gunnar. That could be kind of funny, but that is probably staying in the brain cage for a long time.
Yeah. He's got all these things to do. He's got thumbnails to make. He can't be doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I got videos to make. I got videos to render. So much.
We're setting up also for the Ubik reference when Canute's head's gonna float around a bunch of fucking dead bodies. You know all about that, EliteAri. You just watched Berserk.
I don't remember the Vinland equivalent. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You got fucking Canute, who's literally Griffith but good. He's standing on a bunch of bodies in the farmland arc as he's watching everybody get slaughtered. And little fucking Ubik Swain here is floating around saying, "Dihi and Illy there" or whatever. You ever seen Attack on Titan?
I thought you were saying
Erwin did it
Canute
too.
was Ubik.
No,
Okay.
your favorite King Swain
I think
is Ubik.
it's actually a Macbeth reference.
We don't know
Oh
anything
my
about
goodness.
Macbeth.
And the Spirited
King
Away
Duncan.
reference.
Spirit Away sucks. I don't
least-
know what that is. I do know what it is.
True.
I haven't seen it though.
Shakespeare is the inspiration of everything.
I love Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you guys notice for this like added flashback they did for Canute, the art style, like the colors they do here? I think it's meant to look like the like Canute dream thing that happens in season 1.
Ooh,
I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty
the,
neat that they kind of brought back that visual style for it.
The love stuff when he's freaking out in the snow. I remember. That is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, when he like talks to Ragnar or whatever.
Yeah.
After Ragnar's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like that same kind of dream for him.
It did. It's actually interesting because you see Swain younger there, and we also see Sverkel.
Yeah.
Younger. I don't know if I like this Sverkel one, but we'll talk about it. Well, that's all tied into that silly backstory stuff. We'll get to that eventually. But yeah, that one was interesting. That was a good flashback. Anime can do something, right? I guess, or something. But then this fucking hack manga cuts to Thorfinn and Ina. You weren't lying. So now we're all fucked up and all over the place. So I got to scroll down and click over.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so Sverkel is doing bad, and then we get the guard initial scene, and then I completely forgot about the
Oh my god, you
Snake
do get
Champ
that.
face when he's like, "Oh, look at the food." I thought that was like anime making things way better, but honestly, this Snake Champ face is incredible. It is amazing. Gotta love it. But yeah, I also I guess we should continue on the Canute stuff. We should go with what the manga's doing. The mango's doing. That ain't Falco. And also
Next episode starts with this duel. Yeah. Oh well, I guess there probably is more to talk about in this first episode.
Well, we get.
Are we up to
what
Canute
else is there?
fighting Wolf yet, or is that the
We
next?
didn't really
episode?
even. That's next episode. We got the scene where he's actually at the bedside of his
Wait,
brother.
yeah, his cute
What's his
sister's there.
name?
Harold.
Harold. Yeah, when he's at Harold's bedside. I thought they did this really well. They really like kind of sold Canute's like, I guess, corruption in a way. I don't know if I can call it corruption, but they really just sell how messed up he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think this is one thing. There's been a couple of times in Vinland Saga in general where I've just not, like, my first time reading through, I just didn't clock onto it. Like, I didn't clock on that. Canute's going on this villain arc, and I'm meant to think he's villainous. And if I like read monthly, this is totally what I would think, but because I'm like binging through, I'm like, oh, okay, Canute's doing his own thing, but like it's clearly like setting him up to be the bad evil guy, and he's going to be the main antagonist for Thorfinn as he's attacking the farm. And then there's a resolution. You're like, oh, Canute may be better now. Like there's like this big push and pull between if Canute's, seeming like the most virtuous at the end of season 1, and then he kind of gets corrupted. which is quite interesting. But it's one of those things. It's like yeah, and then you also get I'm not sure if they kept it consistent in the anime, but like you've got the Knut's sister there, and then she's got her friend who's like the servant girl who comes to give Knut food when he's like in his room talking to Sven.
Yeah, 5 seconds of screen time, and I was in love, Bacon. What a cute girl. She got screened
Only
out.
Vinland
She
Saga
ran away.
characters Freckles.
She was so fun.
Yeah.
She's the best. Doesn't have dumb Arnie lips. The cutest girl in Vinland Saga. She's not blonde like the rest of these bitches. My goodness. She's not like other girls, Bacon, and I love her.
Bacon, you made a good point about the whole like not realizing what Knut's like why we're looking at Knut, because I've noticed like looking at the weekly reactions for like anime only people, they're like, why are we even here? Can we go back to Thorfinn? What are we even doing?
No, they did not.
And then like nobody no, they did. Yeah, no, so many of them genuinely confused why we're even here.
It's funny, I always get my audience reaction thing when I do these videos. I'm always like, Bacon, what are people saying about this chapter? And then I'm always shocked and awe. In shock and awe about these idiot villains.
Because Kyle, you're not like other fans.
I am not like other fans, just like my girlfriend over there was not like other girls. Oh, we're just made for each other. But yeah. Oh, don't remind me, Bacon. We gotta when we're talking about Arnie, right? Remember.
Okay. Don't worry. I've got this on lockdown, man.
How do they
I already
not like
said the
Knut?
word once, but
He's the best. What an idiot.
I didn't see this reaction, Mia, but I can believe it. I think it's like by the end of it, like, you know, by the time you get to episode 12, everybody's like, oh my word, this is so cool. Everybody loves Thorgil. Everybody's like, oh, I love how Thorgil's like Thorkel, where he's like, you know, he's actually battle smart, he's smart in a specific way and all this stuff. And like, yeah, no, he is like how he susses it out and all this stuff. And everybody's like popping off over Coin Guy, and then like a bunch of people in the subreddit's like, oh, does Coin Guy come back? And, and I'm just like, oh dear, who's Coin Guy? Who's this guy? And I'm just like, well, he's the hardest question on my quiz.
I always thought he was Wolf for some reason. I don't know why. In my memory,
I remembered it being Wolf too.
I had a crisis when watching it. I was like, is that Wolf? And then I was like, I don't think it is. No. But yeah, he kind of looked like him.
I think
no stars.
Do you think if they made it Wolf, it would be like...
It might be better.
That'd be fine, yeah.
I think that would have actually worked better. I mean, like...
Because I thought Thorgil killed him. Because I was like, oh yeah, he's going to find him and be like, you fucking did that, die. But it didn't happen, so it could have been Wolf. Because it couldn't have been Wolf, because Wolf can't die. He's going to beat up Thorgil later. Fucking hack fraud.
He's going to get choked by good old Thorkel, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And he's going to lose his eye to Thorgil.
Yes. Oh, the Thorgil, not Thorgil. Thorgil? These fucking Thors. Get him out of here. About the because the first episode is pretty slow, but I was like, man, slowness is so good. I said this the last time about the Canute episode we had, where they were burning shit for like 15 minutes. I was like, oh, this is the greatest anime of all time. Part of me when watching this, because I watched the first episode by itself, and then I watched 2 in a row and then 2 in a row. And I actually wanted to watch 2 in a row, which never happens. I hate binge watching shit. But I was thinking, like, man, if I didn't know what was happening, like where this is going, and I could binge this shit, I feel like I'd be having the best time of my life. So these fucking anime only's got nothing to complain about, alright? This shit is great. I didn't just say that. But yeah, I think it actually lends itself very well to binge watching, I think, which is because I remember this now, because Bacon, you said the opposite earlier when you were doing your intro. You're like, oh, it's better for the like weekly thing because we're not jumping around or whatever. But no, this binge watching shit is good. I think it would be good for binge watching is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, Vinland Saga is made for binge watching. It's always better on the binge. But I think there is like it adds. It's a weird. It makes the plot feel more complex when you are darting back and forth between stuff, and it makes things feel more intense, and it feels less just like kind of like categorized apart from each other, because these events are simultaneously going on, and so like brings on the events where you're like, okay, Thorfinn, and you know, okay, so we have this thing with Canute, and now he's talking to Sven, and then we go back to Thorfinn and Kettle's going to Canute. Okay, so that's kind of tied in, and then we end that part on Sverkel being hurt in the field, and then we've got this new guy coming along and he's burnt down someone's house. Okay, and then we go back to Kettle and Knut, and then that sorts out, and then we have Arnie come along, and then by the time Arnie stuff is done, then Kettle comes back, and it kind of brings us back and forth. Which I think if you're watching for 5 episodes of a weekly anime where it's releasing 20 minutes at a time, that is kind of harder to keep people engaged on. So I think they kept it like more streamlined for the weekly viewing experience to improve that.
Yeah.
And then, but if it was on a binge, it would feel more complex, and that issue of like darting between places and be like, "Hound, why are we at Canute?" And then we're back at Thorfinn, and then we're back at Canute, and then you go back and forth so much, and like it's like on a weekly sense, it's harder probably to keep people engaged.
Yeah.
I think one thing that this does kind of mess up though a bit is that with the way it's structured with the manga, it really feels like these are 2 aspects of the storm that are building up, and it feels like they're building up together to this one big like climax of like Kato comes back, all the bad stuff with Arnie happens, but here you kind of get this build up to holy shit, Canute's gonna come to the farm, and then back to zero again for another build up. And it's made I've seen a lot of people react very negatively to that, where they're like why are we getting this filler of this backstory for characters I don't care about when Canute's gonna be here?
Yeah,
and it's messy, but I think.
The power cut.
Did he leave? I was looking at the manga.
Don't worry.
His image is
Mir
still
and I
here.
are the same human being. I can say what he was going to say. But yeah, whatever he was going to say. Yeah.
It's different, and the manga's better or something. Something crazy he was saying. Do we just move on? Hopefully, merely Vinland Saga comes back.
Yeah. Power cut. No.
Canute fought Wolf. Crazy. And then he was distracted because he's a simp, and that's cool, because we're all simps too. Yeah. Pretty girl, distracting. She's with another man, ? Look over. He's like, I'm not going to fall for this.
Okay,
but
that's a bit... That's one of those things that, like, when I read in the manga, I'm like, okay, that's cute, but then I watch an anime, I'm just like, dude, this is so anime, and I kind of don't like it.
I guess
it's
they
like
kinda
realistic,
get what you
though.
mean.
It's not... Is it that realistic? I don't know.
Of course it is.
It's kind of like... I don't know. It's...
Maybe, I guess.
Wait, what's unrealistic? The fact that he like took so long to look at Estrid?
It does
or, like,
feel tropey, I think is what...
It feels tropey. That's the
Yeah.
best way to put it. Yeah.
My God.
Because there's
in
that
the
moment
manga-
in Black Lagoon just like it, Bacon. Remember when Roberta tells Revy, your shoe's untied, and she's like, I ain't gonna fall for it, and then she looks and uppercut.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was that clip recently got high on r/anime.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, okay,
She
but
calls
that
her a
one
cunt,
works quite good.
and that's in a dub. That's so
Yeah.
cool, Bacon. They said the cunt word in a dub.
No, but they didn't have the dub on the r/anime. All these
fucking
frauds
fake,
watching the
fake
sub,
Black Lagoon
unbelievable.
fans.
Yeah, but there is like like in the manga, you've got this. I don't know. It's just like how the panels are. It's just like there's like no way like. I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah, it is different.
Anyways, interesting characterization that Wolf would do that. It's just not much is done with it. Like, I don't think ever again we're seeing Wolf thinking about Estrid or something like that. Like, anyway, it's not yet true. We're going to get a bigger Wolf arc coming up in the manga. But yeah, it feels a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, but yeah, it's not that bad.
It definitely feels different
just-
in the manga now that you post it. He posted the little thing in our
Yeah,
Discord
the
chat.
manga does look good.
Yes, what a
we
manga.
like that
We all
better.
love manga more, as I was saying earlier. Mia's power went out, just to update the audience. Don't talk about Bug Eyes yet. I'm coming back. Okay, we can't talk about Bug Eyes.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Oh my god, it was so good, Bacon. They did a dramatic music cue when Bug Eye showed up, and I was like, yes, he's
my
here.
God.
They're giving him the important
Well,
fucking
how no?
entrance.
We're not talking about. Bug
We
Eyes.
can't.
Oh,
We
he's so
literally
good.
said
I
we are
love
very-
Bug Eyes. Another thing like that
yeah,
isn't
okay,
Bug Eyes
I'm
related.
I'm holding in.
Okay,
in.
yes, hold it in.
I'm holding
In the
in.
ED, in the new ED, they have like Thorfinn and Canute, and they're looking at each other, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, guys. Call it Thorfinn and Canute, crazy. That was another soy moment where it's like, oh, they're putting importance. There was another dramatic music cue that you would only get really if you were a manga reader, but I can't remember what it was because there was the Bug Eyes one, and I was like, this is the greatest thing of all time. It's like in that movie you just watched, EliteAri, where Puck shows up for a second and does a big dramatic music.
Right.
And it's so fucking cool.
I get so excited.
Funny didn't get a music cue,
Okay,
but okay. Mealy Vinland Saga is back.
I'm back. We got Bug Eyes. We got Bug Eyes. I love Bug Eyes. Is that what we're on?
Well, I just
yeah, Kyle was just talking about how he loves it.
they did a dramatic
Go
music.
Kyle.
They did a dramatic music cue, and he showed up, and I was like, oh my god, he's here. And I didn't even like hate the voice or anything when I should have, because I hate anime. It was the greatest thing I ever saw in my life. Bug Eyes is the best.
Yeah, they made a great voice choice.
Do you know the voice actor for that? I didn't actually check.
It's a relatively newer voice actor. I looked into it. I didn't see any roles that I recognized, and mostly in recent years.
Okay, interesting. Because yeah, I mean, I love the new animation flair of him like winding back his fist.
Oh yeah, they did cool animation then too. They did exaggerated.
And it's like, it's just like they lean into the goofy, and literally the whole anime subreddit, or like in general, everybody's like, that were like manga readers are like, okay, I have so much hope that they'll do Baltic Sea War well, or whatever.
Yes.
I was like,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, it was pretty peak. Like I was popping off. I was like, it's so weird to think like if I was like 3 years ago, it's like anime comes out, I want my biggest pop off moment. One of them will be Bug Eyes appearing.
Why wouldn't
but
you?
now
Now
you're like.
He's the greatest
Oh,
character.
exactly.
He's the real Thorfinn.
He
He is Thorfinn Calrissian from History, Bacon. Didn't you hear about that?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
You probably told me about it. How crazy is that?
Insane.
Oh, I think they did
But
dramatic
yeah, no,
music.
it's
Oh,
cool.
Wait, go ahead.
So go for it.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I can wait.
All right. Fucking, they did a cool thing for Leaf showing up too. Was all I was gonna say. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Leaf is another pop off, and actually to give a little bit of an update because I was talking about last time I had my mate who's like average shonen fan, casual anime watcher,
Average mill of the killer.
and he was
big fucking idiot.
Yeah, very very dumb. But he was not happy with the whole pacifism Thorfinn thing. But guess what? He kept on watching. He watched it without me. I felt betrayed. And he was like, Leaf is his favorite character. He's like, oh, I wanted Leaf to get back. I hope Leaf doesn't die. My boy Leaf. And I was like, okay. I feel you. I like myself some Leaf. What was his last name? Sorry, Leaf Erickson? What? I'm just forgetting. I'm just blanking on historical names. Anyway.
Oh, I thought you were doing a bit, and I was interrupting. Never mind.
Oh no,
Bacon actually forgot the name. What a fucking idiot.
I'm dumb.
But yeah, they both show up. They're both really cool, and Kettle and Leaf get along, and it's like, oh my god, what two great men. And then you're like, man, Kettle really sucks. I watched that Kyle Entertainment video. He was bad from the beginning. He really is going to beat the shit out of Arnie with a stick, huh? Seems like crazy. I wonder how that's going to be animated. There's going to be screams and stuff. It's going to be bad.
That is going to be, yeah, that better be the best animated scene in this whole entire season. Not going to lie.
What if they do it terribly?
Because I have some complaints, but we'll have that later on. But we need Mid to talk about Bug Eyes.
I love how he is drawn with like no detail in some scenes. He just looks completely flat. It's hilarious. He's just like photoshopped in. I love this guy.
It is so true. Who would have thought it? Manga comedy working probably better in anime, being more funny. Unbelievable. It couldn't be me until Bug Eyes changed my mind. Though Planet Test does a good job too. Been watching Planet Test recently. Good funny show. Good times.
I've never heard of Planet Test. Where could I find out more about Planet Test, Bacon?
Well, if you go to itsMyre, you can see a very detailed read through of the whole manga.
You should probably read it first before you watch those fucking videos, huh?
Yeah. Well, read whatever chapters we're talking about because we segment them. Yeah. If you want 12 hours of people yapping about a 26 chapter manga, that's the place for it.
You should also watch the greatest movie of all time, The Crucible, and watch me and EliteAri talk about it on the secondary ENT channel, which is what you're on now. Now that all of our plugs are out of the way, are we done with Bug Eyes? I mean, he was pretty cool. Do we have more to say? Oh,
Did
He's
doesn't it?
handsome.
Gay.
He is
What a
handsome.
handsome bloke. Yeah.
There are very few characters in Vinland Saga that aren't handsome. To be
True.
fair.
I know,
So
we got a bunch of
all-
ugly old people, huh? They really hate old people,
All made
Yukimura.
beautiful.
He's like, they're gonna be all ugly. Weren't we having this argument about Thorfinn's mother the other
His wife
day?
looks good in this. I'm saying.
True.
I don't know.
What's the Twitter meme when something is like, I would? That's the guy crouching over the microphone. That's all the politicians are on top of him.
I don't go on Twitter, Bacon. I'm better than that.
You got some obscure memes here. I don't know.
No, it's not obscure. Hold up. Come on. If you're in the YouTube comments, say if you know the meme I'm talking about. Yeah.
I ain't editing it in.
Yeah.
Bacon's looking for it. He's gonna post it.
Yeah. There you go. I'm not gonna. This is what the thumbnail's gonna be. Come on, you must have seen this image.
I don't think
right?
I've ever seen this before.
I don't think I have either. I've seen similar memes.
Oh,
The
me's
other
gone
meme is,
again.
okay, hear me out.
I'm on my phone.
Oh no, yeah, he's here. No, never
That's
mind.
okay.
I was looking at his thing. Yeah, you can do the phone fucking thing. I'm sure you've had worse audio on here before. You ever watched an old Carl Entertainment video? That was pretty shit. So we're talking about old people. Were we done with Bug Eyes? I think we were, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Then Alma, he tries to cut a pig, this fella, and he just can't do it. Crazy, huh?
What a guy. That okay, one thing, okay, so I think this is like a show, this is like a point where I think the comedy, there was something, okay, Kettle just seemed way more whiny in this than in the manga, even though it's exactly the same content. It's just like him
It's like
trying
the Casca
to
conundrum. Oh my god, I
Alma-
just came up with that off the top of my head. Casca's always
It's-
whiny.
it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, Cass was a lot less likable, but it's just like really stressed. I remember seeing a lot of people on the anime forum saying like they felt a lot of secondhand embarrassment for Alma, which I didn't feel, but that's maybe because I know the situation. Like I know I'm not like this isn't like fresh eyes, but it definitely was like I thought it was done pretty well. It was.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, Omar, gotta love. I don't know. I love his little character arc in this, like particularly at the end with him like realizing how much of an idiot he is, and he's on the boat just like
Yeah.
he like understands instantly he's screwed up, and it's his fault.
Yeah. There is something about the Kettle. I don't know if it was because I never thought he was whiny and he never annoyed me. I thought it was like cute because I really like the dynamic he has with Thorgil. And what's really interesting about the Thorgil dynamic is Thorgil entirely buys into the Iron Fist Kettle thing to the point where he like has like this utmost respect for his dad, which is so interesting because it's all fake, and it's because he's like this famous warrior, I assume. And he's always like, he's never like, whenever Omar does something embarrassing, he'll like get mad at him and tell him to fight or die or whatever. Fuck you, you little shit. Yeah, man up or whatever. But with his dad, he's never like that. Even when he's like whining on the boat afterwards and he's doing his cute little, I don't want to get out of the crate
the barrel.
thing.
Yeah.
I've seen The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about, but crazy. He's just like, get over it, Pops. We'll get through it. And it feels very much like a sort of young man, older man, father-son dynamic thing where it's like, I don't know, just the way it's done is very, I like it a lot. And it's definitely in the manga too, but I was noticing it because I was watching an anime recently. Don't know if you guys
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it a lot.
And like the conversations between those two characters definitely feel more candid as well. Like,
Yeah.
They're more casual and just like a bit relaxed, and it's like it makes them like to me almost come way more to life, and I think that's part of like why
Yeah.
Thorgil, just felt so much better in the anime. Like I kind of realized it because like in the manga they're like, because I didn't read it like monthly or whatever, it's easy to miss these small little moments of just Thorgil being very human and not being like kind of a bit of a psycho. And so it's like here, I mean, I also do like how Thorgil is like, how he like his encouragement to Omar was it's always been one of my favorite parts of his moments is like, just kind of like him barking at Omar and just like really encouraging him to go and stuff. And,
About that dynamic, because it's interesting because Thorgil and Kettle don't interact with anybody else that way. Like whenever we see Kettle, usually it's with Einar or Thorfinn or whatever, and it's like it's very much like a slave It's like it's a very formal conversation or whatever, and nobody and Thorgil has that sort of relationship with nobody else either. So it's very unique for both of their characterizations, I think. Vinland Saga is good or something.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe Thorgil kind of has it with Snake. It's not shown,
but it's so
like
bro-y,
even like with
it's so much
Sverkel,
different. I feel like.
Yeah,
it's
true. It is like a bit of a bro thing, but like with Sverkel and Kessel, like they're kind of just more bickering.
Yeah,
it is very different. Which is I mean, father son dynamics Vinland Saga does very well. I like how you've said that because now I've kind of understood that better.
Actually, Thors and Thorfinn suck, and they ain't no Kettle and Thorgil because those are good characters. What did I say about Thors again? Not even a character, Lamau.
More of an idea than a character.
Oh my god.
Which
cringe. But anyway,
in a hard way.
Poor fucking Olmar is crying over here, and then more people make fun of him, and it's crazy, bro. That he gets a sword and stuff.
This was another moment where I was like, anime voice acting is a little bit too over the top. I'm just like, it's one of those things. It's like, generally I do buy like I'm not too put off the fact that they're all speaking Japanese in this Viking world. But
I did have a few moments
when they do this
like
kind of,
but yeah,
but when they do this over top kind of anime laughing, which while in the manga is funny to look at, and they do that. It's just like when you got the voice acting in there, you're just like, this is so
it changes it.
Japanese anime. Like now it doesn't feel like North society, and it feels like it like.
Wait, you talking about when they're bullying Olmar by laughing?
Yeah, I feel like.
Oh, you mean the best scene in all of these episodes?
I kind of liked it too. Yeah. Even I wasn't like anime shit. I should be the anime.
Okay, it was so funny.
And Ari, speak your truth, man.
I just thought it was so funny. Every time we get a scene like that where someone is bullying someone and they say a really dumb joke and everyone just cracks up laughing, it always gets me so much. I love it so much.
I usually hate it, but I liked it this time, Bacon. How come?
It was so over the top and so ridiculous, and they had so much laughing.
Those lines, so good.
God, it's so great.
Okay. Them like laughing at the same thing. Anyway, like to me, it just wasn't like. It's like, okay, when I think of these guys, and this is probably not correct, I think of like your average rugby bloke that is playing at a rugby club. That's how I think of Vikings. Like your average jock. Not jock. I mean, it is rugby blokes are different to a jock, but it's kind of similar for North American audiences. But it's like, I don't know, like they wouldn't laugh at like that. But now you do say like, oh, the fact that it's like a stupid joke, and they're kind of laughing at the same thing again and again, and like it does eventually break you. Like it's like, okay, the first time they laugh is like this isn't funny. And then they do it again, you're like, that's more funny. And this third time you're like, okay, that's kind of funny.
These dudes, I don't know. I don't get the jockish. They're kind of like dorks, right? Like there's this one dude with the long hair and the fat dude, and we got this fucking idiot with his lame goatee and his skinny face. I'm like, these are some lame ass Vikings. Thorgil's gonna fuck them up.
You got the non-binary dude.
That's
like the lipstick and stuff.
Yeah, the long hair dude.
I've been meaning to make a Twitter post about that, but like, I actually think, this guy looks like
he was screaming when Thorgil was running at him, and then he cut off like his arm and then like his torso or something, and it was crazy, bro. Thorgil's the best.
Yeah.
Just before we move on to Thorgil killing the fuck out of these guys, crazy. Something I really liked that they added is that every time they would do a market scene, it was like claustrophobic because they would show like wide shots of like families sitting there. And it's just like not in the manga at all. And for whatever reason, it gave me like anxiety of like, man, these kids are about to see like a dead body and then they're going to get killed in the crossfire. And it's like, it makes you feel like a parent almost, where you're like, oh, got to protect the kid, got to run away. Like, oh, this must be scary when you're out in public, even in contemporary society with a kid. And you're like, man, some shit could fucking go down at any moment. And it's like, man, this kid's like just right here. He could run off at any moment. I was freaking out, Bacon.
Yeah, that is really good. Like, I mean, they do show like the kids with like. That's one thing that I think the anime just in general does well. It's so good at like establishing like wide shots that you can't really get like a feeling of the volume of the space in the manga.
Yeah.
But here it is like, this is like a public outing. This is like if someone's at like a random.
Yeah, it's just like a market,
shopping mall.
Like
if someone's at a shopping mall and a kid is breaking down in a tantrum, how awkward that feels. Everybody feels so bad for the parent because this kid is just uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And they're just looking at this kid.
Happens every
It's a similar
day,
feeling to that. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's one of those things. Is like, yeah, it is a genuine like public place. It's not a battlefield, and there's just about to be a massacre in front of all these people. And it's even kind of shown. It's like, oh, when like Omar kills the dude, all the crowd's like, ugh, yucky. Like they've never really seen a dead body before. But they're like, at the same time, they'll be the type of people to be like, oh, that man's not a strong man, and Omar's humiliated. So they've pushed Omar societally to do this act. But then when it happens, they're like, oh, that's kind of disgusting. Like they don't think that well of Omar in the end. So it's a weird thing.
Because beforehand they're all like, oh yeah, we might get to see blood today. It's fucking sick. And then they see, and I think it's more so after Thorgil shows up and just it looks like the eclipse because there's body parts everywhere and blood everywhere. They're all like, oh, this is kind of like fucked up, bro. And it's almost you don't always, what is that fucking thing? Don't always get what you ask for or something. You don't know what you're asking for.
Dramatic irony. That's what you mean.
Be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for, EliteAri. God, you're so smart. Terrifying news, gentlemen. I just got the first battery warning. And we're still in the canoe stuff. Dear. Dog comes in and fucks him up.
Yeah, no. Animation here is incredible.
Yes, true.
This was like later bits. This is what made me realize I don't think, because there's a lot of parts in this season that feel like the budget isn't there. But I honestly think some of these animators just kind of don't really care about the low key stuff, and this is the stuff that they want to animate. Because like, man, the way they had Photo move here,
I feel like
sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
I feel like besides the boat shot, I was like, yeah, every one of these fucking field shots.
I mean, this episode has all been great.
Yeah.
Some of the other episodes that are a bit quieter.
Actually, no. I have a different take. I think I'm worried, but maybe we'll get to a later point. This is later on when I go complain about some animation. But yeah, I mean, the animation here was done by was keyed out by the person who did one of my favorite bits of Sakuga from the first season, which is Thorfinn milking the cow. It's done by the same person. I looked him up.
Let's go.
So, season 1 sucks.
And they did a bunch of other like really cool shots in season 1 and has done stuff in season 2. But this is like their main thing. And I love how Thorgil's just like eating a casual piece of chicken. And he's like, oh, is Omar there? You know, it's very casual. And you're like, it's one of those things. It's like when you're watching Attack on Titan and season 4, and you see Gabby start running with the gun, and you're like, oh, this moment's coming. It's a similar feeling where you're just like, oh, it's like kind of like, oh, this moment's coming, which is, yeah, it's engrossing as a manga reader. So, yeah, maybe we should move on to the last 2 episodes.
Does anybody have anything outstanding that they must say about our first 3 episodes here?
Yeah, I want to gush about the OST again real quick. There's another moment with the Vinland theme, like I keep talking about.
I still don't
when
know
they're
what it
on the boat, and in that final scene, they're on the boat, and then it cuts back to Thorfinn and Einar doing like their farming. The song goes right into the Vinland leitmotif right when they show them farming. It's so good. It's so smart. It's just so well composed.
Yeah, I love how like Thorgil's like wrapping his arm around Leaf, and Leaf's like very genuinely uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was so good.
and then they have like they end the core like on the Thorfinn looking at Canute across the sea, and then all the shippers of Canute and Thorfinn are like crying themselves.
Yeah, now
with
that's
joy.
an anime moment, Bacon.
Yeah, that is an anime only moment, but I mean.
No, I just mean like in
see those guys
tropey stuff, like the shit you were just complaining about. Like that's one of those moments.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
like, he fucking sensed him.
it is.
And they don't even have sense powers like in Naruto or DBZ or something, where somebody pauses and they know that Jiraiya died. Naruto, spoiler alert. But crazy.
Whoa! I was gonna watch all 700 episodes of Naruto.
Actually, there's only 720, and you are gonna watch them, Bacon. You fucking hack fraud. Naruto's great. But anyway, we've got a 15% battery left, and I'm talking about Naruto. Garda, what a scary bloke, fellas. What do you think about him?
It's very tough for the anime to do Garda well, because in my opinion, what makes Garda such an imposing force in the manga is the very harsh shading on him. It's one of my favorite things about Yukimuro's art style. Is when he like same thing with like lots of shots of Halfdan or Hilda's introduction, when you have them like blacked out and the eyes are white. Oh, I love it so much. And overall, I think they do a really good job of trying to replicate it in color and adding like quite a. It definitely gives a different feeling, but I don't mind that feeling. Like when Garda kind of, you've got the classic, one of my favorite panels that's not a meme but should totally be a meme of like the guys finding him in the forest and they go like, "Oops." Like when they see Garda and like in the anime, like his face is completely blacked out and he's like like when your mum finds your Game Boy under when you're playing it at night or whatever, kind of vibe. But like in the anime, it's like almost quaint. It's almost like there's like a deathly silence to it as he finds him, and it's like almost so much more benign in like a good way. Where you're like, oh my word, this guy's just standing above them, but like not in quite the same intimidating way, but he still brings it. It's just like, but this is just like like an average afternoon in a way. It is a weird, different feeling there that I did actually really enjoy, and I didn't know if I would like or not, and I'm happy to say I liked it.
I don't know if anybody shading enough to comment on the differences.
Oh my god, Kyle.
I thought he was scary, bro. And also, I closed my manga page to save battery. All right, otherwise I could be looking at it right now. Bacon,
Okay.
remember what you were supposed to tell me to remind me to speak about things?
Was it
password
the
was
second thing
second.
you asked me to?
We're talking about Arnid
talk
here.
about?
I want to know if everybody hates Arnid in the Vinland Saga subreddit for giving up on her husband. I guess she didn't at the end of the episode, so they probably aren't mad. But I was like, man, there's like a certain section of the internet where this is like their biggest fear. They protect wife leaves them, and they're mad. So I was like, man, is there some like right-wing sect that really hates Arnid now? I was imagining it, but it doesn't exist.
I saw surprisingly more people hating Gardar for yeah, you're not supposed to like him and think he's like good, but a lot of people are like, because I thought they went out of their way to kind of humanize him a bit more with like they added more reason for why he would want to like go invade the swamp with the iron or whatever, and people were still really mad at him for leaving. Yeah.
You just used Ivan's talking points, which I was like, Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen. I was like,
another like a reference to recent Vinland Saga was again the women thing where none of them want to go to war and Bacon hates that, but it's great and it's the best, and he's proven wrong by the narrative again. I think.
And Kyle, you did not see my fat comment on the subreddit which Mir was talking about. I literally bring that up because I was complaining about that chapter, and I was like, all right, guys, we got to get my white knight going for these ladies.
Yeah, women know best. They should run the world. Men suck. We should kill them all. That was the message of that scene. And all scenes. That's the message of Vinland Saga, actually. That's how you get a pacifistic world. You got to get rid of these fucking men.
True.
Yeah.
You
want to talk about crime statistics? Look at the men.
That kind of is the message, isn't it?
I mean, that's kind of the message of the world, right? We're just fucking everything up out here.
I don't think it's the message of
just look at all human history.
It's more criticizing the male culture.
They're always being victimized. These fucking men.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
but this is specifically the Viking world though as well, where they like Arnid as a character is this embodiment of someone with no agency. So,
but yeah, that is brought up specifically.
And this is like the whole like thing where like we were talking about this like Cordelia may be a bit of an issue because Cordelia's almost saying like like Cordelia's character saying like your biology doesn't matter, it's a cultural issue basically. Same thing with Thorfinn. It's like the fact that Thorfinn is a man and he doesn't want to go to war shows that it's not like a biological thing for men to want to go to war. This can be changed within you, stuff like that.
But it kind of is biological, right? These fucking dumb men.
No,
that's a conversation.
Oh, you're wrong.
Obviously, some men can change, but they have a biological predisposition to violence. I'm telling you, we got to get rid of these fucking men.
No, that's not true.
Absolutely true.
No,
okay, Ari,
we'll talk about this another day. No, I don't want to. We're not talking about
like
science and stuff. We'll talk about another day.
I know everything about science,
EliteAri. You don't have power for this.
But yes, we actually have like 5 minutes left, so spit out the hottest takes.
So I think with Arnid, a couple of she's meant to look pretty, but then she doesn't look pretty in every single thing. Her nose looks like they have a hard time drawing her nose. I feel like
She is
a couple
not
times.
pretty,
Yep.
isn't she, Bacon?
No,
We
she
should
looks
put
great.
her
She is,
back.
no.
She
My
looks
God.
she looks great in certain scenes, like, and I think they nailed that. But it's just like the lack of consistency. Sometimes she looks really pretty.
Yeah.
Other times I'm like, she looks like
Think about
like I
how
drew her.
cute that one maid girl was. She was on screen for 5 seconds. I'm in love. Still talking about her. Where 3 seconds from the ending, I'm still bringing her up, and we got Arnie around all the time. She's not pretty. See, I'm just so great and progressive that I like even ugly girl characters. Girls don't have to be pretty in media, Bacon. Get over it. I win.
That's not true. All of them needs to be pretty because I find all women pretty. Am I right, fellas? Well, hey.
Oh, he fucking outdid me.
True.
Uh-oh. I
Yeah, so I need to talk about my biggest issue. I thought the Garda snake fight was poorly animated. I didn't like it, and I'm scared for the Thorfinn snake fight because in the little picture they showed in the trailer, I was worried. I was like, this is not looking good. And this is why I hope all that bloody animation budget, time, whatever resources better be into the Kettle Arnie scene, because that one needs to hurt. It needs to be the most painful experience I've ever witnessed on screen.
You don't even have to show it. Just
That's the best.
Go ahead.
It's the best part of manga. It's one of my favorite chapters. Unironically, I love seeing Arnie get beat up. Oh my word! Don't
What
quote
happened
me.
to loving women? What happened to that?
Yeah, I'm back on the top. I'm winning this loving women argument.
No.
Yeah, you put Kyle back on top. Way to
I
go.
know. How is Kyle
Kill
more progressive? Than
all
me? Unbelievable.
Man, I mean, what am I saying? Kettle's a man and he's bad. You know, that logically
Yeah,
follows.
true. Am I
right?
Yes.
I guess while I was watching it, I was like, it looks alright or whatever. But then I was like, isn't the big fight later anyway with the Thorfinn one? But I honestly could be confusing him because I thought all of that happened at once.
later.
But then I was like, no, Arnie has to like wash his fucking face or something. And then they have a talk, and that scene's cool. I remember.
Yeah. There's still stuff there, but it just looks so much better in the manga. Like there's like such an energy
So does
and like
everything,
pacing
Bacon.
of the scene of like Snake like halfway through the fight being like kind of talking to people. One thing I do like, which I didn't clock on in the manga as much, but when Snake like turns around to swording, you're like, Snake, you're holding the sword wrong. But that's because he doesn't want to kill the dude. He just wants to knock him out. You're like, oh, I'm glad they kept this little bit where they like have him turn around to sword and stuff in his hand. But there's just like such a velocity and like that just wasn't communicated. And like Garda does like these thrusts at some point, and they just like they need to take out some of the in-betweens to add like an extra like oomph to them. Like anyway.
Well,
aside from that, yeah,
good.
It was good.
We're on 4%
The guys
battery.
arguing in the forest.
We
Yeah,
got
the
to
guys
end or I'm
arguing
going
in
to
the
lose the
forest.
file. Go ahead, Bacon. Quickly, 10 seconds, go.
I think the guys arguing in the forest, I thought was like in the manga, they didn't feel that stupid when they're yelling that much, but there's like this anxiety that builds up when you're like, shh, stop talking, and they keep on talking, like, shh, you idiot, stop talking, you're stupid, and then they die, and I'm like,
That's what
these
Kyle's
guys are
thinking right
dumb.
now.
Yes.
True. All right.
Well, we had to cut it
What
short.
else?
EliteAri should have recorded. We're all idiots. Why did we let me record?
Yep.
Why did we talk for 40 minutes beforehand? We only got an hour and 5-minute recording, but we'll do fine. We'll probably be back in 4 or 5 weeks for the next bunch of episodes. They should be fun. The next one will be out the next day, but you already know that, chat. You're watching it week to week. For EliteAri, for Jarkey Bacon, for Mia. itsMyre, actually. That's the full name. I know.
True.
You can find everybody's links. They'll be in the description. We'll be back to talk about Vinland Saga later. Vinland Saga anime good. Support links in the
Vinland
description
Saga
below.
good.
Vinland Saga good.
Bye.
Support links in the
Bye.
description below. Thanks.